Hey everyone, Reid, Henrichs of Valor. I've got a message for President Trump right now. You need to tell the IRS that they're fired in 2020. Folks, in videos past, I've mentioned that crises are used as excuses in order to expand government power, in order to take away people's freedoms, using fear as a motivator. Well, nothing is more evident than what I've seen lately during this coronavirus than people using this as a reason to restrict money, to restrict people's freedoms. This is now evident in this harebrained idea, bipartisan, that they are going to write checks to people. So what this plan is that they want to give every American $1,000, and families of four get up to $4,000, and if people have a bigger family, then they get even more. Basically what this is a bipartisan check writing scheme to help weather this coronavirus crisis. So basically what this is a government solution, welfare for all theory. All it is a scheme to pump money back into the economy that was already seized from private citizens and business assets. This is going to further our debt. It's going to give checks to everybody. This is a high-interest government credit card. This is income tax reparations. So guys, it's time right now, in this climate of fear, in this climate of chaos and panic, which are repugnant to the United States Constitution and our republic, we need to stand firm, put our feet in the ground, and take this country back to what it originally was, and that is limited government and individual freedom. We, the people, are the ones that have control over this, and we need to demand that government get out of our lives, especially during times of crisis. I understand that the economy has taken a pretty big hit the last few weeks. Everybody looking around can know that. But here's the deal. People that believe in constitutional and libertarian principles don't see government as the solution. History shows that they're the problem. They instigate the problem. What they do, if they don't even instigate it, is that they prolong the problem. Everything that they try to do makes things worse. It's like a meddling mother-in-law. So rather than expanding citizen reliance on government, we need to return to principles, our defining principles as the American Republic, that were in place hardly 100 years ago. The solution rests in policies that were the drivers and were the most responsible factors for the greatest economic explosion in the history of the world. And when put in place, the policy that I'm going to propose to the president is that this will instantly calm economic fears, and this will drive money into the economy at a much faster rate than government intervention can do it. Rather than government intervention and involvement in our lives, what they need to do is get out of our lives. So what I'm proposing is, starting April 1st, that all income tax and business taxes are suspended for the rest of 2020. If you want money back into the economy, then it needs to be in the hands of the people that earned it in the first place. Call the White House, write the White House, tell them that we want a tax suspension. We don't want them taking any more of our money. They're just going to misuse it anyway. With no income tax withholdings, we can get money into the economy, we can get business capital out there that can put people to work, and I guarantee you, you people out there that are working, if you get 25 to 30% more money that you get to keep, money you've already earned, rather than sending it to Washington, D.C., you won't have to worry about being strapped for cash. If we get rid of the tax withholdings for this year, no retroactive taxes for filing in 2020, no business tax withholdings either, you're going to see economic growth and you're going to see fears being calmed like you've never seen them before. Is this idea so far out there? Prior to 1913, there wasn't any income tax at all. And in that period preceding that, this was the greatest economic growth in the history of the world. We're talking barely 100 years ago. The income tax, everybody getting taxed on what they earn. Not only would this idea have been repugnant to the founding fathers, not only would this idea of an income tax be a horrifying thought in their minds, but we've gotten so used to the idea that we've seen government spending exploding. We've seen the value of our dollar going down. It's 95% of its original value of what it was in 1912. Oh, I'm sure I've got some people watching this video right now will read, how would the government be funded without income tax revenue? It's very simple, guys. Number one, immediately suspend all non-essential foreign aid, and I would greatly reduce even essential foreign aid. We're talking hundreds of billion dollars to countries who are not our citizens. And this is a hell of a tax scheme, because our money is being used and funneled out of our bank bank accounts and given to the United States government, who send it to foreigners. I don't know about you, but I don't work my ass off all the time so that my money can get sent to a bunch of people who I could give a crap less about. Oh, well, that's only a drop in the bucket. It's only a few $100 billion. I want you to think of the absurdity of that argument. It's only a few $100 billion. How can we not fund our government with hundreds of billions of dollars? How is it that a government who's supposed to have few and limited powers not be funded by hundreds of billions of dollars? If you want additional revenue, guess what? The United States of America is the greatest petroleum producing country in the world. We can be the greatest exporter of petroleum. You want money? You want revenue? Sell our petroleum. Sell it to the rest of the world. And without even touching our strategic oil reserves. You want a third option? We can also substantially reduce our military footprint across the globe. Bring our boys and girls back home. We don't need to be in every single country doing stupid things. Hell, how long have we been in Germany? How long have we been in Japan? Oh, Reid, that could start a war. Really? Really? See, once again, that's the language of fear. That's once again the idea that somehow we have to police the rest of the world. Somehow we're responsible for the rest of the world's security. To hell with that. We're responsible for American security. We're responsible for our borders. And I find it very disingenuous that we protect other countries' borders more than we protect our own. The whole goal of this, the whole goal of suspending the income tax withholding and business tax, the whole goal is to drive American investment in our own country. You know, we are one of the greatest technological advanced countries in the world, and we can put that technology to use to fix this problem right here. And here's the other thing, guys. If we start focusing on medical investment, pharmaceutical investment, we can greatly get a hold of this pandemic. Of course, the alternative is greater expansion of government, more government involvement in the economy, more government involvement in your paycheck. We're going to have less freedoms, and we're still going to be as vulnerable to this disease, the coronavirus, as we were before people ceded their powers to government. Look, I get that people are afraid, but right now, calm, rational leadership with proven principles that have worked throughout our nation's history, that's what needs to be put in place. The next few months will be hard. They're going to be difficult. The economy is going to take a while to rebound. Yes, there will probably be thousands of people dead, just like they die from the flu every year, just like they die from other things. And there have been pandemics throughout history. The Spanish flu, of course, the bubonic plague in the Middle Ages. History is rife with diseases that have killed large amounts of people. I acknowledge this. But with more government involvement, ladies and gentlemen, we are reduced in our freedoms. And with more government involvement, we're reduced in free market solutions to this problem. So in short, we're reduced in terms of security here and as well as individual freedom. So it accomplishes neither. It does the opposite of its intent. And the more we get government involved, and the more that we allow government to get involved, the less free we're going to be and the less secure we're going to be. Guys, in the next few months, American medical treatment and technology is going to get a hold of this, but they're not going to do that because of government. What government needs to do is incentivize medical practices. They need to incentivize research. And the benefit not just to the United States, but to the rest of the world is going to be, once again, America leading the way when it comes to technological and medical technology, medical solutions. Some of the greatest inventions in the history of the world have come from the United States medical establishment. Some of the greatest solutions in the world have come from our technology companies. Rather than a government-enforced, Marxist-based system doomed to fail, what we need to do is get back to our founding principles, which is to get government out of the way, let people keep the money they've already earned, incentivize research, and government get the hell out of the way. This will yield far better results than a totalitarian attempt at taking over this country out of a climate of fear. Now, I think in the next few months, I think that there will be a treatment that will be available for this coronavirus. I think it will either be a vaccine or I think it will be some other treatment that will help get people fixed from this if they're already ill. And here's the deal. We'll still have our freedom retained. We'll still have a free market. And quite honestly, we'll be a much stronger country from it. Rather than oppressive government decrees, government handouts, and restrictions on liberty, free market and constitutional limitations of government is the way to move forward. We need to get back to American principles, which is to keep the money that you earn and incentivize businesses and wise investments. We need to understand there are two types of countries: reactive countries and proactive countries. And the United States of America has traditionally been a very proactive country. One, of course, weakens economies. One weakens individual freedom. One is oppressive. And the other one has strong economies. massively strong individual liberties. There are always tyrants in waiting. They're like swimmers on the starting block waiting for the starting signal. They're just waiting for a crisis. And if you look throughout history, you're going to find that tyrants especially, are licking their chops waiting for the next crisis to come along because they know that they can ratchet up their power each and every time. They know that they can take people's liberties. If you look at the way that this happened in countries past with the Bolsheviks in Russia, in Weimar Germany, when you look at places like Cambodia, when you look at all these countries throughout history where there's been panic and crisis, it wasn't that people slowly ceded power to government. It was during bad environments, fearful environments, that this change happened very quickly. And here in the United States, especially this is for President Trump, if you're listening, and I hope somebody shows you this video, if you are what passes for a conservative, writing government welfare checks to people, I got news for you. You probably won't stay in office very long, because I have no problem writing somebody else in. I have no problem voting for a candidate, and it won't be a Democrat. I have no problem writing in a candidate that will be more loyal to conservative or libertarian principles. If you found the information in this video helpful, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Facebook, that link is down below. And if you want to exercise your freedoms, especially the Second Amendment, come on out to Valor Ridge and we can help you. This is Reid Henrichs with Valor Ridge reminding you the lessons that we learn are written on the tombstones of others. We'll see you on the Ridge.